Welcome inside Platt Arena. We have women's Forester basketball for you this afternoon as Huntington University takes on Mount Vernon Nazarene and the Lady Cougars. I'm Eric Benton alongside Caleb Overfelt for this afternoon's contest. And Caleb, Forester's coming off of a solid win this past Wednesday night, I should say, against Spring Arbor, where they put it away in the second half. And really, it was an all-around team effort to pull out that win against Spring Arbor.
Right, that's really starting to be a theme for these Lady Foresters. They all have a lot of very talented ladies who are really good at doing different things on the court. We've got some really good defenders, some really good at shooting. So this team effort was really helpful, and really Spring Arbor is a good team, and they were really able to get a good victory there on Wednesday.
And again, this is Crossroads League play, very important for the Crossroads League standings. Huntington now at 2-0 along with St. Francis and Indiana Wesleyan, while Mount Vernon Nazarene joins two other teams in Taylor and Goshen at winless at 0-2 in Crossroads League play. Mount Vernon comes in 1-7. Huntington, on the other hand, has won, I believe, 6 of their last 7 games and have gotten to 7-3 on the season. They're looking very, very strong, playing some good fundamental team basketball.
Right, and it seems like this Mount Vernon team is really struggling to get their rhythm. They started off with a win against Rochester earlier this season and really haven't been able to come up with a win since then. But you know they're going to be trying, and they're still a very capable team.
I mean, you got to beware of that upset-mindedness here at home especially. And the Foresters, they come in receiving votes in the polls, Caleb, and they're third in conference behind the number 1 and number 2 team in the entire nation in Division II women's basketball.
Right, and I think Huntington's right on the cusp of being a national team here, especially this role that they're on right now. We've got some players that normally aren't the ones that you think of as the big-time players that have been really stepping up for this team. So I think the Foresters are, a couple big wins away from really getting into the national spotlight.
Yeah, we mentioned the Foresters in their last game, a total team effort, 28 of 53 from the field, just under 53% shooting the basketball, and also pulled down 44 total rebounds, and again had a solid night at the free throw line at just about 76.5%, 13 of 17.
Right, and that's something really that these Lady Foresters do the best. They're really good at not only performing at the free throw line, but also just getting a ton of opportunities to get to the line. So we've got the top 3 free throw shooters on this Lady Foresters team have all taken several attempts at the line throughout this season, so they do a good job getting points in that critical area of the game.
In Mount Vernon Nazarene, they have been riding a bit of a funk lately. They won their opener against Rochester College, but since then have lost their last 7 in a row, including their last 2 within the Crossroads League, their last game being against Marion, where honestly it was a very even game between those two teams. It just came down to, I think, free throws and a few three-point baskets that really gave the win to Marion.
Right, and I think free throws will be a factor for both of these teams today. It's a definite advantage that Huntington seems to have, but if Mount Vernon wants to give themselves a chance at this game, they're going to have to be a little bit more consistent at the line.
And the Lady Foresters just been really riding some momentum. In their last game, Amelia Recker, 9 for 9 from the field, 23 points. Only had 1 miss all night, and that was from the free throw line. We've talked about it before, but she really comes into her own, it seems like, in the second half and kind of puts the team on her back.
Right, and Amelia Recker is one of the highest percentage shooting players in the country. She does a great job getting herself good shots, taking good looks close to the basket, and she does a great job using the backboard, got good body movement, and like we said, she's a very high percentage free throw shooter as well, and she gives herself lots of opportunities. A great player to have down in the low post.
Now this Mount Vernon team, though, Caleb, while they have 4 players averaging double figures per game, there's not really that much of a drop-off to those bench players as well. After that, you have Kate Walls, who's averaging just about 9 points, and then Courtney Christie is averaging about 8 for Mount Vernon, and the top leading point scorer is Erica Kramer with 17.3 per game.
Right, they do a good job of getting the ball around, getting a lot of different shooters. They obviously have a lot of different offensive weapons, so the Foresters are going to have to play some pretty tight defense on a lot of the players today, especially the forwards, as we saw in the last game. Mount Vernon's last game, the forwards really got a majority of the points while the guards seem to struggle. So that's going to be some sort of key that the Foresters are going to have to hone in on. They have to see some defensive performances by the bigger players, especially Jacqueline Bonneman and Amelia Recker, to try to stop those taller Mount Vernon players.
And you talk about Jacqueline Bonema. It seems like she's starting to get a little more aggressive, especially in the rebounding game. While she didn't score at all against Spring Arbor, she pulled down 8 rebounds. 3 of those were offensive and really provided some good opportunities for her team.
Right, and this goes back to the role that all the different players have on the team. They all have very specific strengths, and Coach Kohler does a good job of letting each player exhibit their strengths. And Jacqueline Bonema, her size makes her really good for taking down rebounds, and she was able to really start to find that rhythm in that last game on Wednesday. So she's not really a scoring asset for this team. You think of the inside scoring, you really think of Amelia Recker and even Amelia Eschman a little bit. But Jacqueline Bonema is doing a really good job, like you said, starting to be a little bit more aggressive and starting to pull down those rebounds and fulfill that role on the team.
And again, the Lady Foresters, while they too have 4 players averaging double figures, that really drops off for them once they go to their bench. The next highest score after Kelsey Hubble averaging about 10 points. The next highest is only at 5.8 with Amelia Eschman, and she comes off the bench a lot. But again, there's a lot of these players for HU that can really give you some good minutes out on the floor. They're very intense, and it seems like they play defense very well. They're only averaging about 65 points given up per contest, and they're scoring just under 71 themselves.
Right. They're doing a really good job on the defensive side, and something that they do very well is shut down the key scorers on the opposing team. We've seen this time and time again where a player comes in averaging, close to 20 points a game, and they really are held under 10 a lot of the times when they play the Foresters. So that's something they do very well. A lot of that has to do with the defensive efforts of Courtney Baker. Does an excellent job forcing turnovers and really keeping good players off balance. But really, all these Foresters are really good at defending the basket.
Just about 1:20 before we are getting underway here inside Platter Inn. We'll take a break for the Prairie National Anthem on 105.5 Fuse FM and Forester Live on YouTube.
Huntington University welcomes all players, officials, and spectators to today's contest. As a member of the NAIA and the Crossroads League, we are committed to the true spirit of competition as champions of character, embracing 5 core values: respect, integrity, responsibility, servant leadership, and sportsmanship. We ask each of you as a participant, official, or spectator to abide by these values, and more specifically ask that profanity not be used during the contest. Together we can create a positive, competitive environment in which our athletes may participate, our officials may work, and you, the spectator, may enjoy. A reminder that tobacco use is not permitted on the Huntington University campus. Ladies and gentlemen, we ask you to stand, bow your heads, remove your hats, and remain silent as I lead us in prayer before today's contest. Please remain standing after prayer and honor America as Green 519 sings our national anthem. Heavenly Father, we come before you in the powerful name of Christ Jesus our Lord. We praise you and thank you for the opportunities that you've given us. We thank you that the team from Ohio arrived here safely, and we pray for safe travel home. We ask, Father, that you'd watch over each one of these athletes as they participate, that you'd keep them safe and healthy. And Father, we pray that we would learn how to love one another on the basketball court and off of it. We pray for the officials, Lord, that they would judge a fair game. We pray for the fans that they would see your glory as it's revealed on the court today. In all these things, we pray in Christ's name, amen. And now, introducing the starting lineups. First of all,
Back inside Platt Arena as we get ready for the Foresters versus the Cougars of Mount Vernon Nazarene. You can follow our games on Twitter. For our men's contest, go to @HUHoops. And for our women's games like this afternoon, follow @HU_sports. And Caleb, let's take a look now at our starting lineups for this afternoon. We'll start off with the Mount Vernon Nazarene Lady Cougars.
The Cougars will be running a 2-guard, 2-forward, and 1 center set today. They'll start out at guard, Courtney Christie, the junior, and also at guard will be the freshman Kate Walls. Ainsley Krause, the junior, will be a forward, and Amy Daniels, the lone senior, will also be playing forward, followed up by Megan Beidelman at freshman as center.
For the Lady Foresters, same old song and dance usually, Caleb, and it will be the case today. Kelsey Hubble gets the start, along with junior Courtney Baker. Peja Speed also gets a start at guard. 3 guards for the Foresters, 1 forward in Amelia Recker, the sophomore, and Jacqueline Bonema, her fellow sophomore, gets the start at center today. We talked a little bit before the game, Caleb, some of the keys. It's going to have to be limiting those forwards and centers scoring the ball for Mount Vernon if the Lady Foresters want to come out with a victory this afternoon.
It should be some interesting matchups. The Foresters like to get a lot of their points on the inside, but they are a little bit outmatched as far as size goes for this game, so they're going to have to get themselves in good positions to score and get themselves good opportunities.
Both teams ready to take the floor as you see the Foresters huddling there. Decent crowd on hand here this afternoon, and we've got some interesting characters in the crowd today, Caleb. We got one guy who's wearing one of those, what is it, an Angry Bird head? Something like that. I don't know. It's pretty weird, but hey, he's here. And he's cheering on the Foresters, which is
even
always
a couple
good.
Santa Claus hats. Most of these students just getting through their last week of the semester, getting prepped for finals week, so we don't know if it's just kind of some induced madness because of all this stress or if it's just people just wanting to have a good time here on a Saturday afternoon, but I like to see the spirit in the students.
It will be Bonema and Daniels jumping in half court. There's the tip. It's up to Speed. Off to Recker. Back out to Speed on the near wing. She'll go cross court to Baker, and she'll set up the offense. Baker, the junior, hands it off to Hubble, the sophomore. Lost her dribble, goes back to Baker. Pass to Recker. Back out to Speed. Speed going to work in the lane, puts up the jumper, and we're underway with a basket from the Foresters.
That's exactly what you expect out of Peja Speed. Gets herself in a good position in the middle of the court and knocks down an easy jumper.
Quickly come the Cougars, loose ball outside, taken away by Baker, and they're fighting for it on the floor. Still loose, and there is Recker to get it. Now it's with Speed, but her pocket is picked by Walls, number 15 for Mount Vernon. And now the Cougars will slow things down a little bit. Ball is with Christie. Over to number 10, Krause. Now is with Beidelman. Working it around the perimeter on the Cougars. Ball inside, Daniels. Turnaround off the glass, and around Jacqueline Bonema is good. And we're tied at 2.
And going back to that Courtney Baker steal area, that really just sums up her way of playing defense. Just a nice hustle, going after the loose ball, and she just does an excellent job forcing steals.
Hubble going to spot up for a long 2, a little too strong, tipped up. There's Speed for the offensive rebound. Hubble slows things down, heads off to the far wing. Taking her time is Hubble. Screen set by Recker. Hubble picks up her dribble, goes to Baker, and now in the corner, Speed moving right with 12 on the shot clock. Speed back out to Baker. 8 on the shot clock. Baker going to drive, puts that one off the glass, and uses the window.
That's something that we failed to talk about during the pregame is Baker's involvement on the offensive side as well. She does a good job driving and getting some baskets now.
At the top, it's Daniels going to Christie. With the Cougars down by 2. That one inside to Beidelman. Puts that one up, blocked by Bonema. And now off to Baker. Here come the Foresters. They usually like to push it, Caleb, once they get a turnover. Kick out to Recker for 2.
Very rare long shot by Amelia Recker there, and it looks like Mount Vernon's going to take a timeout and slow down this momentum that the Foresters seem to be accumulating.
30-second timeout taken by the head coach, Jason Foster, for Mount Vernon Nazarene. And quickly, it's a 6-2 ball game. The Lady Foresters playing with a 4-point lead here against the Cougars. And Caleb, it seems like we're seeing another good start out of the Foresters when in these past couple of games they've had a tough first half and have really struggled getting going, but especially against Spring Arbor, they jumped out to a 15-0 run, and they're starting to look pretty good here.
Right, you can tell if this is kind of a strategic focus of these Foresters to try to strike early, get an early lead, and then just play and to hang on to the lead after that. And they're doing a really good job right now, especially pushing the pace of the ball, as you mentioned.
17:57 in the first half. It is Cougar ball after the timeout. That leaves them with 5 left in the game. Bringing it up will be number 5, Courtney Christie. Christie, guarded by Hubble, goes to the near wing with Walls. Now it's back at the top with Beidleman. Goes to Walls. Crowd thought she walked. Screen set by Daniels as Walls goes back outside. A 3-ball on the way and good from Christie. 6-5, a 1-point deficit now for the Cougars. As Baker at the top of the key. Swings it off to Hubble. Hubble going to try and drive herself, and now instead backs it out. Goes to Speed. Speed will put up a shot from the high post. That one no good. Beidelman the rebound. Now it'll be Christie. Now Vernon trying to take the lead here. Ball back with Christie from Beidelman. Off to Daniels, the lone senior on this Cougars squad. Daniels inside to Beidelman, puts that one up off the glass, and Mount Vernon is in front.
You can't ask for a better pass than that. Went right inside the defensive player and just led to an easy layup.
5-0 run put together by Mount Vernon. Baker goes to the high post. Recker dishing off to bottom of the sophomore. Now goes to Hubble. Hubble just inside the 3-point line. Goes to Speed along 2. That one finds the roll off the back iron.
Really soft touch there, and even though it bounced off, it was able to find its way to the bottom of the basket. Nice shot by Speed.
Good job by the Foresters to break that 5-0 run. They're back in front by a single point. Ball worked over to number 10, Kraus. Kraus at the free throw line. Tries to go in the corner, but it is too wide. Therefore, Walls on the far corner, and that gives it back to the Foresters. First substitution of the afternoon. Abby Moss, number 12, checks in for Mount Vernon. Comes on for Christie. Baker gets the play in from head coach Lori Culler. She's across the timeline. Now moves off left, goes to Hubble. Hubble, bounce pass in the post with Speed, kicking it back out. Long 3, no good from Hubble. The deep rebound goes to Walls. Now Walls will take over the point guard duties. She goes off to Kraus. Kraus, nice backdoor pass to Beidelman, and she uses the window.
That's 2 really good passes straight to Beidelman down in the low post that have led to easy buckets. Foresters are going to have to limit those passes.
Foresters trying to work quickly now as Recker almost loses it, kicks it back out to Speed, and now Baker. Baker handed off to Speed. She is open for 3, and it's good. What an answer.
It's not often that you see Paige Speed hit a 3-pointer. Well, she doesn't really take him that much, but that was a good look, and she was able to cash in on it.
Speed on the season coming into today, 5 of 19 from beyond the arc. So that was her 20th attempt, but she does make good on it. As the Cougars work it around, Daniels going back out. Here's Kraus. In the corner now, Walls along 2, no good. Recker the board, and here she comes. She may have some numbers. Recker tried to go inside, but Hubble is there as it kind of just came out of her hands funny. Baker off to Hubble. Kelsey trying to cut, dishes into the corner with Speed. Shot fake, baseline jumper, too strong. Ball still tipped up in the air, and it is Moss getting the rebound. Now Mount Vernon will slow things down. Looks like Amelia Eschman will check in after the next stoppage of play as Daniels lost the ball out of bounds, but it was tipped out by a Forester. May have been either Baker or Recker there. Bonema checks out. And a couple of subs also for Mount Vernon as Walls and Kraus head to the bench. And we have hit the first media timeout, 14:25 remaining in the first half. Media timeouts brought to you by the Huntingtonian. So really, Caleb, after a couple of runs put together by both teams, they're seemingly now trading baskets. And we've seen this a lot in these Lady Forester basketball games, especially in the early going.
Well, yeah, both of these teams seem to come out strong, really wanting to set the stage of the game, really say that they're the dominant team. Both teams are trying to exert this right now. So this really works out well for the Foresters. If they can just manage to hang in there, they typically play really well in the second half, as we've mentioned earlier. So this isn't something that I don't think either team is too worried about yet, but you definitely want Mount Vernon, you can really see that they want to really try to come out swinging and try to snap this losing streak that they've had.
There you get a look at the bench of the Foresters. And this media timeout brought to you by the Huntingtonian. We are the media. Go ahead and visit them at huntingtonian.com. You also can find them on Facebook and Twitter as well. Out of the break, it is Cougar basketball. 15 on the shot clock and 14:25 to play in the first half. And Amelia Eschman checking on for Bonema. Seen a lot of good play out of her lately, Caleb, coming off the bench. And again, we have 2 subs from Mount Vernon as well. Christie is back on the floor, along with number 22, Megan Foley, seeing her first action of the game. Inbounding is Christie. Bounce pass into Beidelman and back outside to Moss. Moss will bounce it off to Christie, defended by Speed, screen set by Daniels. Kicking it out, now with Beidelman. Beidelman going to try and drive in. That one knocked up. Beidelman puts up a tough shot and draws the foul. Foul goes against Amelia Recker, her first, and first of the game for either team.
And before that foul, Courtney Baker did a good job getting her hand on the ball to trip it up and really caused Beidelman to just throw the ball up. But unfortunately, she drew the foul and is turning them into points.
First one good for the freshman out of Lewis Center, Ohio. Second one up on the way. That one is good. Another sub coming on. Number 34, Natalie Thomas, checking on for Daniels. Inbound to Baker, and here we go. Tied at 11. So we close in on the 14-minute mark. Baker working against Christie, goes to Recker. Recker triple teamed, breaks it out, and now it's cross court back to the top with Baker. Back to Speed. Swinging around the perimeter are the Foresters. 11 on the shot clock. Speed for 3. It is good.
Very rare to see not one three-pointer from Paige Speed, but 2 early on in this game.
And this crowd is into this ball game, Caleb. We're still getting some pretty good noise. And it's usually not as packed as this, but they are into this one.
Yep,
ball knocked up and taken by Speed. Here comes Peja. Trying to work. Goes into the corner. Baker kicks it back out to Speed and goes to Hubble. Fans wanted her to take that 3 again, but she dishes it out. Foul inside. And we'll go against Mount Vernon Nazarene. Goes against Beidelman, her first.
Well, you mentioned the crowd noise, and it's really encouraging to see maybe a small student section, but really getting into the game. And I think the Foresters are really feeding off this energy that's coming through in Platte Arena today.
Walls and Daniels back on the floor for the Cougars. Beidelman checks out along with Moss. Speed inbounding for the Foresters, goes to Hubble. Back out to Baker. She gets the play from the sidelines. Now it's off to Speed. Speed to Hubble. And a bounce pass to Baker. Baker backing it out to the perimeter now and moving left. It's that one almost taken, but gets it to Hubble. Hubble going to drive baseline and kick. There is Speed alone for another triple. It's good.
And we got to give a shout out to Kelsey Hubble there. Nice job, very rare drive by Hubble. And she kicked it out to the wide open Peja Speed, who's really finding her rhythm.
17-11, Foresters by 6. Pass inside, Daniels all alone, goes reverse.
And I really like the attitude of this Cougar team now. They're not going away. Even in the face of a few three-pointers, they're still going to hang right with them and get some good shots as well.
Foresters still staying pretty calm, though, offensively. So it goes to Eschman in the high post. Tried to go into Recker, but is knocked away by Daniels. In comes Miranda Palmer for the Foresters. She comes on for Hubble. Back on for Mount Vernon is Ainsley Krause, number 10. Will be Forester ball. On the far side baseline. Speed going to get it into Recker. Now she'll dish it off to Palmer, the freshman out of Ohio. Speed with the bounce pass to Baker. Kicking it out. Speed with 7. Goes to Palmer. Palmer drive and kick. Baseline jumper is good from Courtney Baker.
Well, see, it's a very atypical jump shooting from the Foresters, but I like it, and I think the crowd really likes it too.
19-13. Still a 6-point lead for the Foresters. Walls to Krause in the corner. Back to Walls on the near wing. Moves left, picks up her dribble, goes to Daniels. Daniels going to drive in, shot from the high post, no good. Rebound underneath, and the putback by Thomas. Now 19-15 as the Foresters still working quickly. Recker at the free throw line, goes to Palmer. Baker on the baseline, driving. Has to kick it back out to Speed, over to Eschman. There is Palmer, left alone for three. Rattles in and does not fall. There is Recker, count it and one.
Well, if they're not going to get the 3 one way, they're going to try to get it the old-fashioned way. And really, that's the first major shot we've seen from Amelia Recker doing what she does, getting that and one opportunity.
Foul is on Ainsley Krause, her first, team second. Recker adds the old-fashioned three-point play, 22-15, and now
I'm sorry.
Go ahead there, Caleb.
That three-pointer by Miranda Palmer really was as far in as it could possibly go without going through the hoop.
And a travel on the other end as Walls was trying to corral the pass. Took one too many steps, and it's right back to the Foresters at 22-15. 11:18 to go in the first half. Now it will be Palmer running the point guard position. Palmer defended by Krause. Palmer goes back to Baker on the near wing. She now moves right, continuing to move right. Puts up a shot off the glass, no good. Rebound will go to Krause. Now Krause goes to Christie. Defended tightly there by Miranda Palmer. Pass in the post with Thomas. Left alone is Christie for three. That one is no good. Ball tipped up, taken by Eschman. Now to Recker. Up to Speed. Speed going to put that one off the glass. That one wildly missed. Eschman the rebound. And back out with Palmer. Now Baker. Baker bounce pass into Eschman. Almost lost it. There's Baker left alone. Goes to Palmer. She's open and connects.
Well, I don't know why, but Mount Vernon's really leaving a lot of Foresters wide open at the end of the perimeter, and really the Foresters are making them pay for it right now.
Timeout. Cougars down by 10 now, 25-15. It's a full timeout, and it's brought to you by HTV News. Well, Caleb, we are seeing some fantastic shooting of the basketball here early from the Lady Foresters, and they've gone back out to their first double-digit lead of the entire game.
And this is really a very atypical way of doing it for the Foresters. They usually like to get a lot of their points inside and from the mid-range jumpers, and a lot of them off of free throws too, but we haven't seen a lot of free throw attempts. We haven't seen a lot of inside shots. We're seeing a lot of three-pointers being tossed up, and a lot of them are falling in.
It's been Page's Speed. Miranda Palmer's added a few. And again, Amelia Recker, she's doing the work inside, really providing that somewhat of a good balance. This full timeout brought to you by HTV News, your source for the latest video coverage. They have their latest episode up. You can go visit them at htvnews.net and follow them at HTVnews_HU. Also want to provide a quick shout out to Blair Caldwell. It's her birthday today, executive producer there of HTV News. So happy birthday, Blair Caldwell. She turns 22 today. Back out come the Lady Foresters. Eschman, Recker, Speed, Palmer, and Baker on the floor. We'll have to see if Mount Vernon Nazarene makes any changes. So far, it doesn't appear so, as they work with Christie, Walls, Krause, Daniels, and Thomas. Inbound goes to Christie, and she'll bring it up. Crossing the timeline, met by Palmer. Looking for help, goes to Thomas, top of the key, now to Krause. Krause double-teamed. Finds Thomas at the high post. Kick it out to Walls for three. Off the front iron, no good. Recker the rebound.
That was almost blocked by Recker, and I think her intimidating force coming in really drove that shot from falling in. Speed,
bounce pass to Baker in the corner, moves left, goes to Palmer, top of the key. Palmer dishing it off to Speed, the senior. And a shuffling of the feet there by Speed as she was trying to go to Baker. That will be a turnover with the travel. Mount Vernon ball. Again, Christie bringing it up. Beidelman checking back in for the Cougars. Just over halfway through the first period. 10-point lead for the Foresters, 25-15. Daniels at the top, swings to Walls. Walls trying to work against Palmer. Very tight, stolen by Speed. Intercepting the pass intended for Krause. Speed gonna take it all the way. Could not finish. Fight for the loose ball underneath. It will be a jump ball. Even though Amelia Recker came up with it, it will take it back to the Cougars.
Well, it's just like Peja Speed to commit a small mistake on one end of the floor and then come back and force another turnover on the other end. It's just a lot of poise and determination and effort by the senior.
Here comes Christie, trying to get the Cougars back into this one. Christie bounced past the free throw line, knocked up by, I believe it was Eschman. And there's Speed with another steal. Peja will go to Palmer. Palmer with the screen, dishes it back out to Baker. Baker kicks to Speed. Trouble controlling it, but she's got it now. And it goes to Palmer. Palmer trying to work, trying to go inside, picked up her dribble. Bounce pass to Eschman with 7. Off to Baker. Baker gonna drive in, puts that one up wildly, no good. Beidelman the rebound. Now gives it to right there defending. Both teams in a little bit of a funk now, shooting the basketball, Caleb. Trying to find their range as Beidelman gets swatted by Amelia Eschman. 3-on-2 for the Foresters. Ball tipped up and out of bounds off of Walls. It stays with HU.
Well, that's a couple really good defensive possessions by Amelia Eschman. She's just done an excellent job getting her hand in the way of the passing lanes, and in that case, getting a really nice block.
Baker checks out, Hubble back in. Quick inbound, and shooting is Recker, no good. Beidelman the rebound against Eschman. Back is Christie, moving to her right. Gonna go inside, Daniels, kicking it back out. Kraus open for 3, that one no good. Daniels saves it along the baseline. Kicking it back out, Christie gonna put up a runner in the lane. Count that one and 1 as Eschman commits the foul. Good runner there from Christie, using the glass to her advantage there.
And unfortunately, that shot came off of an air ball three-pointer that no Foresters were able to grab the rebound.
Free throw is good. Makes it a 7-point game, 25-18. Palmer running things, going left, behind the back, and goes to Hubble. Hubble tries to go baseline, but cannot. Tries to dish it to Eschman. That one swatted and taken by Kraus. Now with Christie. That one stolen by Palmer. Palmer uses her speed and lays it in.
Man, what an excellent open court steal there by Palmer. Just a great job getting the ball up behind and getting herself into a position to score.
The freshman making good defensively and turns it into 2 points for the Foresters, 27-18. Beidelman back out to Daniels. Daniels goes to Walls on the far wing. Now goes in the corner, Kraus. Kraus gonna try and drive, has to work, and a no shot and a travel. Give it back to the Lady Foresters. That defense has been stifling so far, Caleb.
Right, they've just done a great job preventing really any good opportunities.
Palmer bringing it up 27-18, HU in front. Recker fakes the pass, instead moves right, bounce pass into Eschman. Working in the post, that one no good. Tried to work around Beidelman. She may or may not have gotten a piece of that. At the other end, Christie to Daniels, left alone for 3. That one high off the backboard, no good. Beidelman the rebound and puts it in.
A really nice rebound there by Beidelman with Recker and Eschman both in the low post.
Should correct myself, it is Beetleman. My apologies. Palmer dishing it into Recker, almost taken away. Double teamed underneath. And it will go back to the Cougars.
And Recker can't believe it. She definitely felt some contact, it looks like, and the referees may be discussing it.
And now the change goes back to the Foresters.
And if you think about it, that one either had to be a block out of bounds or a foul, and really no way that she could have just thrown the ball away.
Officials working with the shot clock now as the shot did not hit the rim, I should say. Back at 18 seconds as Baker checks in for Palmer. Palmer off the bench so far, Caleb, really getting some good effort out there. Got the steal and a 2-pointer all by herself.
Right. Not to mention a nice 3-pointer earlier in the game.
Yes. Recker back out to Hubble. Hubble gonna kick it off to Baker as she moves back right. Tries to center it. 8 seconds on the shot clock. Baker gonna go to Bonema. Off to Speed. has to put it up. That one no good and did not hit rim. That will be a shot clock violation, even though Recker got the rebound and tried to put it back in. 6-16, 27-20, Forster's in front. Christie crossed the timeline easily. Now moving left, goes to Daniels. Daniels to Walls. Walls going to kick to Daniels on the baseline. Back outside. Christie going to go inside. Beetleman to Daniels for the layup. 5-point game now. A little bit of a run put together by the Cougars.
And the Forsters really can't seem to score very well in the half court the last 2 or 3 minutes. We'll see if they can get a good play set up.
Baker had some space, did not drive in, and now goes inside to Recker. Recker going to try and work inside. Puts that one up no good. Beetleman the rebound.
Mount Vernon's doing a really good job double and sometimes triple teaming Amelia Recker, keeping her out of this game, really.
Christie works on the wing, goes to Walls. Walls going to take a shot from the three-point line, no good. Bottom of the rebound. Not to mention she has checked back in recently. As Baker goes to Hubble. Open for three, no good. Recker the board, puts that one up high off the glass and cannot connect. 5 minutes to go in the first half, still 27-22. Looks like Osborne looks to check in. Stephanie Osborne, number 23. Daniels gonna drive in, misses the layup.
And looks like Recker might have got a piece of that coming from behind.
Here comes Baker trying to turn it up. Moves off to her left and goes to Speed. Open for a long two. That one no good. Tipped up and Daniels the rebound. I thought the Foresters may have tried to force that shot there, Caleb. It took a little too quick time there.
Right. There was still plenty of time on the shot clock. Very rare. I know Speed's really finding her rhythm, but normally she's very patient when it comes to finding a good shot. So
bounce pass to Beetleman. Now off to Kraus. Kraus uses the screen. Goes back to Beetleman. Cutting inside. Knocked away by Baker and taken by Speed. Speed looking for help, but she'll do it herself and get across the timeline. Pass off to Hubble. Using the screen from Bonema. Just inside the three-point line, and it's good from Hubble.
And maybe that jump shot will help kickstart a little bit of offense there for the Foresters. That really quenches a long drought from the field.
Christie, defended by Hubble, goes to Walls on the far wing. Screen by Daniels, not utilized. Reach-in foul on Speed. That'll be her first.
Really haven't had a lot of fouls by either team so far this half.
Only the third for the Foresters. Double subs coming on for both sides. Osborne in, along with Palmer.
Amelia
Beetleman and Kraus head off for Mount Vernon.
Recker and Speed get their first rest of the game.
Thomas, that one tipped up. Baker tried to tip it back in bounds, but it goes out, and it stays with the Cougars. Two subs coming in for Mount Vernon. Number 34, Thomas, and number 44, Elizabeth Stoll, seeing her first action today. Ball goes out of bounds as Wallace was trying to handle it in the corner. Trickled out, and it's back to the Foresters at 3:43 to play in the first half. Palmer will run the point. Met by Walls at the top of the key. Over to Baker. Baker going to go inside to Bonema. Bonema working against Daniels. Double team, kick out. Hubble, long three, no good. Bottom of the board, and the putback.
And it really looked like she might have been fouled there too, but regardless, she's able to find the basket. Nice point from Bonema.
Bonema on the board with 2 points. 9-point lead for the Foresters, 31-22. Daniels off on the far wing. It is Stoll. Back out. Walls. Pump fakes. Goes to Christie. Christie. Backdoor to Thomas. Back to Walls. Walls moving left. Has to drive outside. Christie, a three is good. 31-25. Under 3 minutes to go. Foresters by 6. Pass from Palmer to Baker. Inside Osborne. Osborne double team, trying to find help. Goes to Hubble. Back to Baker, swinging around to Palmer. Palmer fakes, drives inside, draws the foul. That will go against 15. That is Walls.
Seen some really good play from Miranda Palmer today. Really not afraid to get involved personally on offense.
puts Palmer at the line for 2. Palmer out of Findlay, Ohio. And on the season, Miranda 7 of 12 from the line. First one on the way and good. 2 subs for Mount Vernon. Thomas and Daniels check out. Beetleman back on along with 33. That is Ashton Hibbert seeing her first action today. One more coming for the freshman. Puts it up on the way, and that one is good. 2 for 2 for Miranda Palmer. And I believe she is closing in on double figures scoring now.
Not quite sure why that wasn't a jump ball there. It looks like they both had possession at one point. Stephanie Osborne doing a nice job.
Timeout taken by Mount Vernon with 24 on the shot clock. If they weren't going to get the foul there, Caleb, or the travel, they were going very close to that 10-second call there in the backcourt because that full court pressure was on pretty good.
It was. They did a nice job getting a trap in the corner. And like I said, it looked like Stephanie Osborne got her hands on the ball, but regardless, being able to force the timeout, that was really good.
And we've got a wave started in Platt Arena as the Angry Bird getting the crowd to their feet. By the way, that leaves Mount Vernon with 3 timeouts left. They've used a couple early, and that could really prove costly. If they get back into it, they're going to probably need some of those timeouts.
Well, and you can definitely see that this seems to be the strategy here for Mount Vernon. They really just don't want to let this game get too far ahead of them. They want to just hang in there and give themselves the opportunity to get maybe a victory today.
33-25, Forsters by 8. Christie off to Beetleman to the wing with Walls for 3, and it is stuck in the rim. That's 2 games in a row now, Caleb.
Better call Daniel Wool.
Unfortunately, I think he's on the road. He's headed to Mount Vernon today. As the men's Forster team looks to stay undefeated, they take on the Cougars from Ohio. They're looking to move to 3-0 in the conference. Good luck to them today. Forster ball, inbound to Palmer. Palmer been working very well so far today, looking to continue. Bounces off to Hubble. Hubble will go to Baker. Top of the key. Horney looking to make something happen. Gets a screen from Bonneman. Now looks to move left. Goes to Hubble. Hubble with 12 on the shot clock. Bounce pass to Palmer. Palmer under 10. Palmer going to drive. Has to kick it out. Hubble. Shot fake. Going inside. Bonema has to put it up. That one almost went in. Did not fall though. And stole the rebound for Mount Vernon. Up quickly they go. Walls at the free throw line. Backdoor pass. Foul on the floor before the shot. And they will get that one against Osborne. Her first. She fouled Hibbert. Back in comes Speed for Hubble. $1:33 to go in the first half. Amelia Recker will now check in as well before the inbound occurs. She'll come on for Bonema. And a sub also for Mount Vernon.
That's a delayed reaction on the substitutions.
She'll come on for Hibbert. As Christie looks to inbound. Goes in deep to Walls. Walls off to Christie on the far wing. Moves right with the screen. Beidelman gonna take a 3 and she hits it.
Always interesting whenever you see a forward or center with so much size take the shot, but that was a really good opportunity, and she's showing that she's got a pretty good jump shot. Make her respect her a little bit more at the line.
5-point game as Recker looking to move in. Dishes to Osborne. Back outside to Baker. To Palmer. Speed on the wing. Back to Palmer. 10 on the shot clock. Baker drives. Runner no good. Recker the board, but lost out of bounds.
In the last few possessions, the Forsters have really been struggling in the half-court offense. They just have a hard time getting any good shots off, and they seem to really be struggling.
58 and counting left in the first half. Christie moving left, finding a cutter and Stoll. She'll put up a jumper and hit that one with some pretty good pressure in her face.
Right, you really can't defend that one any better than she did.
Makes it a 3-point game. Palmer trying to go baseline. Bounce pass to Recker. Recker backing her defender down. Kicks it to Osborne. A 2 is good.
Nice job by Amelia Recker. We've mentioned she's been drawing a lot of double team today, but she was able to use that opportunity to find, I believe that was Stephanie Osborne with that shot.
Back out to 5, 35-30. And the shot clock is turned off now. 15 seconds. Christie to Beetleman. Walls. Back at the top. Beetleman goes to Christie. Screen. Puts up the shot. No good. 3 seconds. Here goes Baker. Gonna put it up from half court. Oh, it was on the line.
It looked like that might have fallen in Shane Merriman style, but I also want to give a shout out to the student section there.
Yes.
With an early countdown that
Yes.
forced a premature shot there. Nice
I
job.
saw something similar to that earlier this year. It was like a Michigan State basketball game. Either that or North Carolina. And the fans in the stands forced, I think, like 3 or 4 shot clock violations. It was amazing.
Yeah, really nice sixth man here in the crowd today in Platt Arena.
So we're at halftime, 35-30. Foresters going to the locker room with the lead over the Mount Vernon Nazarene Cougars. We're back after this with halftime stats and a look to half number 2. So we're on Forester Live on YouTube and 105.5 Fuse FM. Stay with us.
Scoring for Foresters, we have Kelsey Hummel with 2, Jacqueline Bonham with 2, Amelia Recker with 3, Courtney Baker with 4, Miranda Palmer with 7, and Paige Speed with 13. Our student halftime shootout is sponsored by Signs, Etc. and Huntington Pizza Hut. Each shooter will shoot from the free throw line, the three-point line, and half court. If they hit the free throw, they win a 2-liter bottle of pop. If they hit the three-point shot, they win a free pizza from Pizza Hut. And if they hit the half-court shot, they win a $100 gift certificate. When we call your number, please report to the scoring table with your ticket.
All right. We're out of here.
Last 3 digits, 676. 743. 738.
What's up? Alright, Kelsey, right here, I walk this in at halftime right here. This little twist right here.
Okay.
So you just twist that to loosen it back up and you're ready to go. Yeah.
Okay.
Right over there. Right there. You ready to start half? Evan's running it.
The Huntington University Athletic Department wants to thank Orthopedics Northeast and Sport One for its partnership. ONE Physicians specialize in bones, joints, spines, and sports medicine. ONE has athletic trainers that provide team coverage in area athletic programs, including Huntington University. When you need orthopedic care, there's only one name to know: ONE.
Back inside Platte Arena at halftime, the Lady Foresters leading the Lady Cougars and Mount Vernon Nazarene 35-30. Also follow our games on Twitter. For women's games, follow at @HU_sports. For men's games, go to @HU_hoops. I want to send a thank you to our social media correspondent, Victor McCarty. Let's take a look now at the halftime stats, Caleb. Really, both teams pretty similar and even throughout that first half. Both teams 100% from the free throw line. Lady Foresters doing a bit better job shooting the three ball, although they haven't taken as many attempts. They're 4 for 7 from beyond the arc.
Really, I mean, as the scoreboard shows, it's a pretty even game, and as these stats show as well, one really key difference right here, as you can see, is the turnover margin. The Foresters +5 right now, doing a little bit better job taking care of the ball. So definitely for Mount Vernon, a key for the second half is to maybe limit those turnovers, especially the preventable ones. We saw a few passes just slip through some hands of some Mount Vernon players, so they're just going to want to control that a little bit better. And really, honestly, it's anybody's game at this point. Both teams are playing pretty well.
Both teams with 16 rebounds to their total. Lady Foresters shooting a bit lower, but they have more made field goals. So that 42% may be a little bit misleading, but still, Mount Vernon at 48%, that's very respectable going into the half.
And both of these teams really shooting a higher percentage than their average. They're really taking some pretty decent shots, and honestly, the Foresters really struggling there toward the end to get these shots. So, and that just kind of speaks to how they played in the beginning part of this first half. Really got some good shots in.
Take a look now at our games around the Crossroads League this afternoon. We do have one game to be determined. We do not have the score for Marion versus Taylor, but all of these games also in the first half. Bethel leading Spring Arbor 30-23. Goshen down 3 to Grace 39-36. And also Indiana Wesleyan and St. Francis, the top two teams in the conference, and a barn burner 29-26. After today, we may only have one or two teams undefeated in the Crossroads League.
And we're hoping that the Foresters will be in that category today with a win against team today.
Looking at some of the individual scores now, Caleb. For the Foresters, they're led by Paige Speed with 13 points, going 3 for 3 from beyond the arc. And then you also have Amelia Recker with 5 points and 6 rebounds. Courtney Baker with 4 points and 4 assists. And then off the bench, Miranda Palmer having a nice day with 7 points.
Yeah, Miranda Palmer typically, runs really good point position, does a good job distributing the ball, and is a really good defender. Doesn't really get too involved with the scoring, but today she's really not been afraid to take the shots when she has the opportunity. We saw her hit a really nice three, and she had another really close opportunity from the three-point line that just barely went out of the basket. So really, I like the aggression a little bit, the step up, and obviously she's showing a lot of confidence, and it's paying off for her.
As for Mount Vernon, they're led in scoring by Megan Beedelman, number 50. She has 11 points, 6 rebounds, 5 of those defensive. Courtney Christie has 9 points. And then Amy Daniels with 6, and Thomas and Stoll both with 2 for Mount Vernon. So it looks like it's going to be a two-headed monster for the Cougars in Christie and Beedelman if they want to try and get back into this ballgame.
Right, and we've seen Beedelman attack from many different areas. She's gotten a lot of good points off of assists down in the low post. We also saw her hit a three-pointer late in the game, so she's definitely a multifaceted player, and really the Foresters are going to want to tighten up their defense on her a little bit.
We mentioned the turnover battle, only 5 for the Foresters, 10 for the Cougars. What do you think is going to have to be the case for Mount Vernon if they want to try and clean up those mistakes that they've been making?
Well, a lot of those were travels, so they're that's pretty preventable. Most of these players are familiar with the rules, and sometimes they just get a little bit ahead of themselves. Their body doesn't work quite as fast as their mind, so they're just going to have to want to just make sure they just slow it up a little bit, try to prevent those travels. And a lot of the other turnovers were like a lot of missed passes that went out of bounds, or somebody cut one way while the pass went the other way. So a lot of these turnovers were preventable. It seems like they might be rushing a little bit, even though they're playing a slower pace game. Sometimes they're just moving a little bit too quick for their own good and making some mistakes. So that's going to be what it takes for them to prevent these turnovers.
As for the Foresters, and toward the last few minutes of that half, Caleb, we saw them struggle a little bit in their half-court offense. So they still keep going with that, or would you say they need to pick up the pace and kind of push the tempo?
Well, if they get the opportunity, these Lady Foresters are going to want to push the ball a little bit. They do a really good job on the fast break. They've had a few good fast break points today. We saw a really impressive one, especially by Miranda Palmer at one of her big moments during this game. So they're going to try to push the pace of the ball, and that's going to stem from their good defense, which they typically exude. But they're also going to want to have to get those points from the half court, and that's going to involve getting Amelia Recker involved. I say it every time. When she gets the ball, good things happen, especially on the half court. Really, Mount Vernon's doing a really good job defending her, getting a lot of double teams, and keeping her from getting those easy shots that she normally takes.
And we're starting to see a bit of an all-around team effort again here, Caleb. Just judging by this first half, there's only one person who saw action that didn't get any points, and that was Amelia Eschman. Other than that, everybody else has at least two that has seen action on the floor. And I think it's going to take another one of those efforts like we saw against Spring Arbor with us. In the second half, it's pow, pow, pow. You got to give it to everybody.
Right. We have a lot of different weapons, a lot of different ladies who are good at a lot of different things. And if they're all firing with all their pistons, it's really tough to stop this Lady Foresters team.
Now, out of the starting lineups, if there was one person, say, for both sides, you could see possibly having a big second half that hasn't had one already, who would it be for the Foresters and maybe why?
Well, I always want to go to Amelia Recker. She plays really well in the second half. But if I had to pick maybe another starter, I'm going to go with Courtney Baker. She's really we've seen her improve basically every game, just get a little bit better and better, especially on the offensive side. We rave all the time about how proficient of a defender she is, but a lot of times in these last few games especially, she's gotten some really good shots off, and she can really just provide that X factor of maybe a drive and kick offense, or maybe even taking the shot herself. And really, on Mount Vernon's side, it's going to come down to Beitelman, I think. She's the one playing the best game right now. And playing on the inside against Amelia Recker, she's doing a great job.
For me, I would say I would look at Kelsey Hubble. You know, she usually has a pretty good shot. She's been getting good looks at the hoop. Some of them haven't fallen. But I think once she gets that streak going of hot shooting, I think it'll really start to kick in for the Foresters. And when she is on a roll, I feel like this Lady Foresters team is pretty strong. As for Mount Vernon, I would say I would look for Kate Walls to step up. She's had some good looks at the hoop. She's been making a few mistakes, though. She's got 4 turnovers, but she does have 3 assists. If she can start scoring the ball a little bit, maybe Mount Vernon will be able to get themselves back into this game. About $1:20 before we get back underway for half number 2. We'll take a break on Forester Live on YouTube and 105.5 Fuse FM. Back inside Platt Arena, just about ready for the start of half number 2 as the Lady Foresters lead the Lady Cougars 35-30. It will be Cougar basketball as we begin the second half. Possession arrow will be in their favor. Foresters come back out with their starters on the floor: Speed, Hubble, Baker, Recker, and Bonema. I would imagine the same for the Cougars. So there you see Dr. Emberton in among the student section. She's been pretty much at every game, Caleb. It's really exciting to have her on campus.
Right. Well, I don't think I can remember a game that she hasn't been here, or at least made an appearance. And really, the students have really embraced her enthusiasm for Forester basketball, and we really appreciate having her here.
Christie receives the inbound, and we're underway. Cougars down by 5 as we start. Christie going to drive to the hole, misses the layup. Baker getting the rebound among 2 or 3 Cougars.
Really a ferocious jump there, and we see her pushing the pace of the basketball, as we mentioned.
Kicking to Speed and laying it in. Good work by the Lady Foresters. A quick, fast break opportunity, and they make it a 7-point lead at 37-30. Christie moving around to her left, now comes back right with a screen from Beetelman. Picks up her dribble, goes to Daniels. Daniels looking to go inside. That one knocked away from Walls. Is it saved? No. Baker could not get it, but there's only 11 seconds on the shot clock for Mount Vernon Nazarene.
And even though she wasn't able to round that up, that was just typical Courtney Baker hustle there. A really nice job trying to chase that ball out of bounds and try to get another turnover.
Will be Cougar ball. And inbounding will be Daniels on the far side, almost in the corner. Daniels looking inside and goes right to Walls. Back to Daniels, going inside. Tried to go to Beetelman. knocked away by Bonema there, using her wingspan to get her hand on the orange.
And every once in a while, we'll see a play like that from Jacqueline Bonema where she just can reach in and just disrupt a passing lane or block a shot. Nice move.
Inbounding Christie to Kraus, kicking it back out. 5 on the shot clock, less than now. Turnaround off the side of the backboard, and the Foresters control the ball as here comes Hubble. Hubble going to try and turn it on, stops and gives it to Bonema. Right back to Hubble, using the screen. Trying to go wing, puts up a mid-range jumper, and it swirls in for Kelsey Hubble.
And you mentioned Hubble at halftime. She's been a little bit quiet in the first half, but if she gets involved in this game, a lot of more jump shot opportunities for the Foresters.
Walls controlling it for the Cougars. Trying to use the screen from Daniels. Picked up her dribble, goes to Beetleman. Inside, Christie to Kraus. Working around, I believe it was Wrecker down there. And she gets the roll into the hoop. It's 39-32. Here comes Baker trying to take it up, and she's fouled. Fouls against Daniels. That is her first.
And all of these offensive possessions so far by the Foresters have been fast-paced, as we mentioned. They're really wanting to push the tempo of the ball and try to get themselves good scoring opportunities.
And Caleb, you think we're in a golfing match here as the first free throw is good from Courtney Baker. It's either a golfing match or we're in church, one of the two.
Yeah, not a noise coming from this crowd during these free throws. Makes us seem like we're screaming.
Baker's second on the way and good.
The Foresters continue to be perfect from the line this game.
Baker from Newcastle, Indiana, providing some good action for the Foresters so far. Beetleman back to Christie. Bounce pass into Beetleman, puts that one up. And it's a charge on Beetleman. I think it was Speed who put her body on the line there.
Right, it was a little bit of a late call there, but it was a good call. That was a pretty easy one to spot, especially with the official right there. Nice job by Speed drawing that charge.
And a small smile from head coach Lori Culler's face.
Well, you got to love it when players do that, whenever they know they can get an easy turnover there, and it might cost them a little bit of pain, might knock them to the floor, but you got to love that kind of attitude from the players.
Beetleman checks out with 2 fouls. In her place is Hibber. And Baker receives the play in from the sidelines. Baker moves right, hands it to Hubble. Hubble trying to get some separation from Walls. Goes to Speed. Speed spins back to her left. Goes to Hubble. Long 2 on the way. A little too strong. That wall knocked up. There's Wrecker to corral the miss and put it in. It went off of Kraus and off of her shoulder.
Right, and a nice job by Courtney Baker getting her hand in it too to allow for that Amelia Wrecker shot.
Daniels at the high post. Going to drive inside now. That one put up. Foul will go against Bonema. It looked like she got a big part of the ball there, but she will be called for it. That's only her first, though.
And either way, I really like to see that kind of defensive effort from Jacqueline Bonema. That's exactly what you want to see. Of course, she's going to draw fouls if that happens enough, but really that was good defensive play.
Daniels' first free throw, a rainbow, but finds the bottom of the cup. 43-33 now. Daniels trying to make it a 9-point game with this next make. Second one up. That one is good. Inbound goes to Baker, and here she comes. She is running like crazy. Baker along the baseline, kicks it out. Speed for 3. No good. There is Wrecker knocking it off of Walls out of bounds.
And Amelia Wrecker, she's such a smart player. We fail to mention that sometimes, but she can just really make some split-second great decisions, just like that one. Instead of kicking the ball out, she decides to give her team an opportunity to set it up and try to inbound the ball.
Quick inbound to Wrecker, trying to work it inside and lays it in against some tight traffic there in the paint.
And that's a couple quick ones from Amelia Wrecker. It looks like she's starting to get into her typical second-half rhythm there.
Christie working for Mount Vernon. Kicks it to Hibber, to Kraus. Kraus going baseline. Tries to drive in, lost it herself out of bounds. Coach Culler with her hands in the air, wanting a charge there. And again, it was Speed getting in the way. But nonetheless, here comes Baker. Baker trying to work quickly onto the far wing, now goes back right. Dishes to Hubble. Worked herself free, now goes to Speed. Speed crossing over on Christie, goes to Hubble. Hubble with a clear lane, instead picks up her dribble. Goes to Wrecker on the baseline. And a jump ball will go to the Foresters with 6 on the shot clock. Have to be a quick catch and fire here, Caleb.
And
Looks
really
like speed will inbound.
a couple opportunities there for some shots, but the players decided not to take it, see if they could find something better, and really they got to come up with something quickly now.
Hubble works to Baker, catching and shooting for three. That one is short, and Mount Vernon will let that one go out of bounds and give them the basketball back. 45-34. Foresters by 11. Here comes Christie. Crossing the timeline, met by Hubble. Goes in the high post. Daniels. Back out to Christie on the wing. Drives and kicks. Daniels left alone for three. That one, dust trickles no good, and a hard foul by Daniels. Trying to go for the rebound against the smaller Courtney Baker.
Well, a lot of body contact there, and Courtney Baker was up in the air, very defenseless there, and she went flying. That was an easy call for their officials.
Second one on Daniels. Stoll checks in, number 44 for Kraus. Interesting move there, Caleb, not taking out the player with two fouls. But again, Daniels is a playmaker for the Cougars. Baker going to hand it off to Kelsey Hubble. Trying to work against Walls, a little bit of hand fighting there. Now Baker will try and make something happen. Baker going to drive herself. Has to pick up her dribble. Dishes back out to Recker. Looking at the high post. Instead, will go off to Hubble. Hubble with 5. Has to put it up. Speed with 2. Putting it up. Got a foul during the shot, rather. And that was lucky. That goes against Daniels, her third.
A lot of contact on that possession there. The crowd's really not happy. It was maybe thinks they might have seen a couple fouls.
Immediate timeout with 15:51, brought to you by the Huntingtonian. 11-point lead still for the Foresters, 45-34, Caleb. And well, like you mentioned, this current possession for the Foresters worked it down to a 1-point lead, or a 1 second left on the shot clock, I should say. They were lucky to get the foul there as Speed was just about to get it off.
Right, they seem to be a little bit frustrated. You know, they're trying to push the pace of the ball, and they've gotten some decent shots off as we're a bit amused with the Angry Birds game going on in the crowd. But really, they're having a hard time with the half court. They continue to struggle even as they started to in the beginning, toward the late minutes of the first half. So they're going to have to try to just figure something out, try to get some plays and kind of break up the pretty tenacious defense of Mount Vernon.
And we've seen Walls from Mount Vernon, Caleb. She's getting very aggressive defensively, and it's almost like she could be fouling, but the referees are letting it go, and they're letting these ladies play just a little bit.
Right, and as a defender, you're always going to want to kind of push the limits and see what the referees are going to let you get away with. And as long as they keep allowing this contact, you better believe that the Mount Vernon's going to continue to play a little bit more aggressively and see what they can get away with.
Media timeout brought to you by the Huntingtonian. We are the media. Visit them at huntingtonian.com. Also visit their Facebook page and Twitter, facebook.com/Huntingtonian and twitter.com/Huntingtonian. 2 free throws for Paige Speed. Very, very good free throw shooter. I believe in the country, Caleb, she is 3rd in free throw percentage as she earns the first one.
And you got to love the simplicity of the routine, too. Just one dribble, shoot, fire, and most of the time, 90% of the time. I mean,
Second one on the way for Paige, and it's good. 47-34. Here comes some full court pressure from the Foresters now. Walls working against Hubble, almost lost it. Triple teamed and finally gets it to Christie. She's across, goes to Stoll. Now Beetleman on the baseline. Now back around the perimeter, it is Walls. Off to Stoll, inside Beetleman. Hard off the glass, but it does go.
Well, that's not the first time we've seen Beetleman get inside of her defensive assignment and really get a nice, easy shot there.
Baker goes to Hubble. Hubble looking for movement, goes back to Baker. Going around the perimeter, it's with Hubble again. Now inside, Bonema to Baker. Baker going to drive off the glass, no good. Bonema fighting for it, a foul going the other way though. They'll go against Bonema, her team's second of the half.
Again, we see some aggressive play from Bonema, but even though it resulted in a foul, it's good to see her fighting for a rebound down there because if she can get into the habit of doing that, she can pull down a lot with her size.
Christie working on the near wing. Out the top with Hibber. Off to Stoll in the far wing. Cougars content to hold it a little bit. as Walls now has it. Tries to go inside, and Baker picks her pocket. And Baker going 2-on-1 to the hoop. Nice adjustment to avoid the block by Beetleman.
Right, a little bit of a delay on the shot. She's able to come up with an easy, fast break point.
49-36, 13-point lead for the Foresters. Another strip. This time it's Recker. Recker working 2-on-2, draws the foul, and she'll be at the line for 2 free throws. Foul goes against Hibber. Number 33, the junior out of Mansfield, Ohio. Her first foul. 15th foul already for the Cougars.
And we mentioned Peja Speed's free throw proficiency, and Amelia Recker's right there with her.
First one up and good for the sophomore out of Arlington, Ohio. Coming in is Natalie Thomas, number 34, for Hibber, who just picked up that foul. Recker coming into today, just over 81% from the line, and she goes 2 for 2. And again, the Foresters remain perfect from the charity stripe in this game. Christie uses the screen, goes off to Thomas, who puts up a 3. That one rattles in and out, no good. There is Baker going for the rebound. She got it, and she was fouled.
And really the last thing Mount Vernon wants to do right now is get into foul trouble, but they've already really dug themselves into that hole this half. That's their 16th foul. The next foul that happens, the Foresters are going to be shooting free throws, and as you mentioned, they're perfect on the game right now, and that's one of their biggest strengths all season. So if they want to hang into this game, they've got to start playing a little bit more cleanly.
Fouls against Stoll, her first. And as you mentioned, Caleb, one more, and the Foresters will be shooting free throws the rest of the game on every foul. Speed goes to Recker just outside the free throw line. Moves left, goes to Baker. Bounce pass to Hubble. Hubble trying to make something happen. Goes back to Baker, right back to Kelsey. Kicking it off to Baker. Baseline is good. That's kind of Baker's trademark shot, Caleb. She usually makes good from that location.
She does, and it's really exciting, like I said, to see her get involved on the offensive side of the ball.
Timeout, Mount Vernon Nazarene. It's a full timeout brought to you by HTV News. 53-36. And since the start of the second half, Caleb, doing the math quickly in my head, it's been an 18-6 run. And we're just at the 13:41 mark to go in the second half.
Well, in typical Forester fashion, we're really seeing the Foresters find their rhythm, especially on the offensive side. In the second half, and really all the players getting involved, a lot of scoring being spread around among the different players, and really this is a critical next few minutes for Mount Vernon. They really, if they want to have a chance to come back in this game, they're going to have to start slowing down Huntington now before they get themselves in too deep of a hole.
And the Foresters looking to move to 3-0 in the conference before heading back to non-conference during the Christmas season. This full timeout brought to you by HTV News, your source for the latest video coverage. Follow them at HTVnews.net and follow them on Twitter as well at HTVnews_HU. Their most recent episode up and online now, so you can watch that. Profiling the epic shot of Shane Merriman from here inside Platt Arena that made national headlines across the country. And I heard, Caleb, even somebody in Australia watched our entire game there on YouTube. It's absolutely incredible. It's so great for this program.
Right. So many things that have happened really in the wake of this game and really kind of unifying the HU campus. It's been really cool to see the effects of just such a great shot and an exciting moment for this basketball program and for our broadcasting program as well.
Christie working on the near wing. Tries to go inside. Knocked up and taken by Baker. And here she comes again. She'll back it out, go to Speed, and now the Foresters will set up the offense. Here comes Hubble, going to Speed, top of the circle. Trying to work against Stoll. Speed has to pick up her dribble, goes to Hubble. Hubble looking for a backdoor cut, instead goes to Recker, back outside. Speed for 3, a little too strong, and the rebound will go to Walls. Here comes Christie, and the Cougars trying to push it. Beetleman was open, calling for the basketball, but she did not get the pass her way. Now it's with Stoll. Stoll has it knocked away, but Beetleman there to get it. As Thomas goes in the corner with Walls. Loft pass inside, and a foul on Hubble. Now we'll send Thomas to the line. I believe that is the first on Kelsey. And only the 13th foul of the half, Caleb. They've Lady Force has been playing tight defense and doing it so very, very cleanly.
Yeah, that's something they typically do. They do a good job of getting themselves opportunities to the line and preventing free throw opportunities with the opponents.
First one on the way for Thomas, no good. Eshman checks in along with Palmer. Hubble and Bonema will have a seat. Even though, Kayla, we're seeing some good action out of them. Even though they may not be having the points today, they're really providing good opportunities for the rest of their teammates.
Yeah, we're really seeing good play from all the players here today for the Foresters. And again, you know, points are just one aspect of the game, and stats are really only one aspect of the game, too. They can't really capture everything that a player is contributing, and honestly, we're getting really good contributions from every single one of these Foresters today.
Daniel checks in along with number 12, Abby Moss, for Mount Vernon Nazarene. It's Palmer. Dishing on the far side, it's Baker. Baker against Moss. Had it knocked away, but a kick ball. 15 seconds on the shot clock. 12:27 to play in the second half. 53-37, Lady Foresters by 16. Speed inbound. Quickly into Recker. Recker double team, goes back to Palmer. 10 on the shot clock for Miranda. She's going to try and go baseline. Instead, kicks it back out. Speed will try and drive. Tried to dish it out, but it was taken away by Kraus.
Really nice swarm defense there by Mount Vernon, and they've really been doing a pretty good job of that all day. We haven't mentioned it yet, but they do a good job with the double and triple team, but not leaving people wide open for big shots.
Kraus, back to Beetleman, over to Walls. Walls with the screen, trying to drive in, a foul. So it'll be reaching in on Eshman. Second foul against Amelia. And inbounding will be Moss. Moss gets it into Beetleman. Back out. Walls almost straight away for three. Off to the left, no good. Ball tipped up, and there is Baker for the rebound. Against the taller Amy Daniels. Baker squeezing the orange and giving the Foresters an opportunity.
And Courtney Baker's really good at rebounding. She had 7 in that last game, up there with the likes of Amelia Recker and Jacqueline Bonema.
Speed on the wing. Bounce pass to Eshman. Right back to Peja. Peja, the runner from the baseline, is good. That's kind of Peja's shot too, Caleb. She loves those fading into the shot or fading away. She really knows how to put the touch on the basketball.
Really any kind of jump shot, Peja's good at it. And if you didn't believe it before this game, you'd see it today after really nailing a lot of those three-pointers and just making a lot of decent jump shots like that as well.
Moss, corner with Kraus. A rainbow of a three is good from the corner. 55-40. 11 minutes to go in the second half. Palmer will now run the point. Palmer looking to make a move. Goes to Baker. Baker in the lane. Puts it up against Daniels and uses the glass for two.
Really great drive by Courtney Baker. She can run through a clogged lane just as fast as she runs in the open court.
Walls, top of the key, met by Speed. Looking for movement. Trying to go inside. Instead, there's Speed trying to get her hands on the basketball. Goes to Daniels, though. Kicks it back out. Beetleman, the shot fake, goes to Walls. There's the screen. Turning inside, and a late foul, but a lot of contact down there in the lane. That will be Eshman again. That's her third. And now both teams starting to even out in the foul category, Caleb. That's the fifth against the Foresters.
And since we mentioned that Mount Vernon was in foul trouble, they really did a good job cleaning up their defense. They know that they don't want to see the Foresters have some opportunities at the line, so they've done a good job playing cleanly and really have limited that bonus opportunity.
Speed checks out, and Allison Trout checks in, seeing her first action of today's contest. First free throw was good from Walls. Second one also good. 57-41 now. It'll be Forester ball, another sub coming on. It was Christie checking in. Now the ball worked with Miranda Palmer. Palmer looked to go back to Trout and does. Trout trying to cut hard left, and she's reached in. And she'll be at the line for the 1-and-1 as the foul will go against Abby Moss, number 12. 10:08 to go in the second half. First one against Moss. Trout's first one goes home. Taking a bounce off the front iron and backboard, it finds the net. One more for the freshman. Catching and shooting. That one is halfway down and comes back out. Here comes Mount Vernon Nazarene. Moss going back out to Christie. Christie looking for a screen, gets one from Beetleman. Goes to Daniels. Daniels in the wing to Moss. Beetleman, top of the key. Works it off to Kraus. Kraus picks up her dribble, looking for movement, finds a teammate in Daniels underneath, puts that one up, and it gets to go around Allison Trout. 58-43. 9.5 minutes to go. Baker tried to utilize the screen, instead drives in herself, misses the shot. That one's still up, and it is Beetleman getting the rebound. Ball now with Christie. Moving left, uses the screen. Nice backdoor to Beetleman, and she uses the glass.
And don't count Mount Vernon out. Yeah, there's still a lot of time left to play, and really they're hanging in there enough, and really they're just looking for that extra push to get them maybe back within 10 points and maybe make them feel like they can get back into this ballgame.
Pass off to Baker. Inside, Recker. Nice find in Amelia Eschman. Count that one and the foul.
Nice job by Recker. She could have taken that shot. She's been double teamed all day, but she was able to find the open Amelia Eschman, who was able to get a really nice shot in and even draw the foul.
Second foul against Kraus. Speed checks back in for Trout. And one free throw coming for Amelia Eschman. On the way, and she makes it count. Old-fashioned three-point play. 61-45. Here goes Christie, trying to work against Palmer. Goes to the top of Beetleman, off to Kraus. Kraus on the wing, tries to go inside, but it's too wide for Beetleman. And Speed comes up with another steal. I think that's her fourth. Off to Eschman, high off the glass. That one no good. Actually surpassed the glass. And now it's back with Mount Vernon, and Christie trying to push it. Off to Moss. A high arcing shot is good from the freshman out of Galena, Ohio.
Mount Vernon's just slowly but surely chipping away at this deficit.
14-point lead. Here comes Baker. Giving off to Recker. Baseline is good. And Amelia Recker, while she can do a great work inside, Caleb, she also has been able to develop that mid-range jumper.
Yeah, and we've seen a lot of that today as really she's been double-teamed and not had very many opportunities in the low post, but she's doing a great job with that mid-range jumper, as you mentioned.
Daniels with it, moving to her left. It's double-teamed, but there's Moss left alone in the corner for three. That one no good. Tipped up, Kraus the offensive rebound. Turns around, can't connect. And Recker gets the board for Huntington. Here comes Baker, quickly off to Palmer. Palmer going to drive inside herself. Tried to draw the foul and did not get it. Ball almost taken away, though, by the Foresters. Palmer still going after it. But it is with Christie. Bounce pass in the high post. Beetleman back to Christie on the wing. Uses the screen. Now goes to Daniels. Left alone for three. That one off the back iron, no good. Fighting for the loose ball. And a jump ball will go back to the Cougars.
Well, that's an interesting call there. They were both fighting over it pretty hard, but...
Second media timeout of the half. 7:12 to play. Media timeout brought to you by the Huntingtonian. Referees talking things over. May not be a second media timeout of the half, but it has been called. 63-47. Lady Foresters in front by 16. Caleb, we're really starting to see the possessions be put together by the Foresters. And as we saw against Spring Arbor, the clock is now working against Mount Vernon.
It is, and whenever you're trying to make it come back like Mount Vernon's trying to do, every shot that Huntington makes is a big dagger to both the morale and your chances of coming back. You think of shots in terms of time, you know, the amount of shot clock that it takes up, and really every shot is another 30 seconds potentially that you don't have back anymore. Inbounding
will be Christie for the Cougars. Gets it in deep to number 44, Stoll, who is checked back in. Stoll at the free throw line has it knocked up and taken by Recker. Up to Palmer. Palmer going to try and do it herself. Takes it in and draws the foul. Now put Miranda at the line for 2 free throws. Foul goes against Christie. Team foul number 9. One more will be 2 free throws from here on out for the Foresters. First one on the way for Palmer, no good. I think that's the first miss from the charity stripe tonight. Palmer still with one more. Need to make good on the second. On the way, and that one is good. Should mention Stephanie Osborne checking in. And that stoppage of play for the Foresters. Now back with the Cougars. Christie going to spot up for 3. That one was halfway down. Did not fall. Ball still knocked up. Still loose, and there is Baker.
You got to like the effort by the Mount Vernon players there, really trying to get that rebound, trying to get themselves every extra possession they can.
Baker tried to do it herself. Could not find the layup on the other end quickly. Here is Daniels.
Nice ball movement there from the Cougars. Really, they didn't have numbers on that fast break, but they decided to push the tempo anyway and were able to get some good passes and set up a nice shot.
Baker going to work it to Speed. She'll move to her right, left alone, and takes a 2. And when you leave Paige Speed that wide open, it is too easy for her.
She will make you pay for it every time.
Timeout taken by head coach Lori Culler. 66-49. It's a full timeout brought to you by HTV News. 6:16 to go in the second half. And again, Caleb, the Foresters, they keep putting these offensive possessions together, not allowing Mount Vernon to get on any type of a run, even if they make a basket on their own end.
And really, they're playing this game in a very similar fashion that they did on Wednesday evening against Spring Arbor. Really not exploding into any big leads, but just ever increasing the lead just very quietly by putting together a long, consistent chain of good possessions. And that's really starting to become their second half MO, and they're pulling away, and they're well on their way to the 3rd conference victory today.
Full timeout brought to you by HTV News, your source for the latest video coverage. Again, want to give a shout out to Blair Caldwell, the executive producer of HTV News, as it's her 22nd birthday today. Foresters back on the floor with Osborne, Recker, Baker, Speed, and Palmer. Mount Vernon breaks their huddle. They come out with Daniels, Christie, Beetleman, Walls, and Moss. Coach Culler, even with this 17-point lead that the Foresters have, they still want to stop. Christie off on the far side, moves back left, dishes out to Daniels. Daniels to Walls. Walls has to swing it around and goes to Beetleman inside. Daniels in the paint, kicks it back out. Walls alone for 3. That one off the iron and no good. Baker, another rebound, and she's trying to push it into 4th gear now. Osborne was open, had some good space around her, and she was uncontested there in the lane, but Baker could not find her. Nonetheless, Foresters still with the ball. Palmer goes to Speed with 10 inside. Recker to Osborne. Kicks it to Baker. Baseline jumper. Good.
Again, you mentioned that's her territory right there, about 15 feet out on the baseline. That was another great shot.
68-49. 5:20 to go in the second half. Walls picks up her dribble, goes to Daniels. Daniels will dish it to Beetleman. Puts up a baseline of her own. That one is short. Palmer the rebound, and she'll look to push it a bit. Palmer going off to Baker. Now she'll move right, defended by Walls, and hand it off to Paige Speed. Inside, Osborne is double teamed, kicks it back out. 10 on the shot clock. Speed looking for help, gets a screen. Has it stripped away. With 4 on the shot clock, the Foresters will retain possession. Back in comes Krause. Comes on for Daniels. And Baker will inbound. Another situation here, Caleb, that you may not practice too much in practice. A quick catch and shoot. Here's Baker. Palmer puts that one up. No good. Does not violate the shot clock. Just got off before the buzzer sounded.
And it seems like Osborne and Baker didn't really realize that they only had a few seconds to shoot, but fortunately they got the shot off even though it didn't fall in.
Beetleman works to Christie. Christie left alone, instead drives in and draws the foul. See who that one will go against. Goes against Recker. That's her second. Only the 6th team foul for the Foresters. And Kelsey Hubble looking to check in. Christie's first on the way. That one off the back iron and comes back to her. Asia Speed will get a break on the sidelines. And coming on for her is Kelsey Hubble. Christie with the second on the way. That one is good. Baker will get it into Palmer, and no real pressure so far from the Cougars defensively. 20-point lead, 69-49. Palmer tried to drive in, instead goes to Recker, puts up a shot from the high post, left it short. And back to the Cougars. It was Moss with the rebound. Gives it back to Christie, and that one taken away by Baker, tiptoeing along the sidelines. Puts that one up, tried to hesitate, and could not get it in. But right back, here she comes with another steal, and Coach Culler has a chuckle on the sideline.
And really, she had that one in her sights for a long time. You saw her sprint all the way down the court.
She wanted that one for sure.
From the inside.
Here comes Hubble, spinning off left, goes to Recker, back out is Baker. Left alone, does not take the three, not really her game. Recker going to Osborne, puts that one up too strong. Reboard Hubble, back to Recker for two. That one no good, and Beetleman the rebound. Couple of Forcers colliding as Hubble and Osborne get into each other. And a foul on the other end. I think it's going against Recker. No, it'll be Palmer. That will put Christie at the line, though, for a 1-and-1. 68-50.
I'm going to go back to Courtney Baker and say something a little ridiculous. I wish she could dunk because she has such great explosive plays, a lot of them that create fast breaks, and I'm sure if she would ever get some massive slams, I think everybody would love her, kind of similar to a Daniel Wolf fashion.
First free throw good from Christie. I think I would like to see that myself, Caleb. Second one good as well. 68-52. I want to correct myself. It was not 69. It was 68. And a full timeout taken by Lori Culler. This full timeout brought to you by HTV News. So Caleb, again, the Forcers with 3:16 left in the second half. They look like they're on their way to their third straight conference victory to start out the season, and will move to 3-0.
And really, they're playing really hot right now. I mean, they started off the season, there was a few losses in there, but really since then, we've mentioned they've won several of their last games, and they're on a really hot winning streak today, especially 3 games into conference play. And they're looking really good. It's a really good overall team. And a lot of these games against pretty good quality opponents, they're really doing everything right.
And again, they've won 6 of their last 7, coming in looking to make it 7 of their last 8. And that one loss was on the road by 7 to, I believe it was a ranked St. Xavier team from Illinois. But they followed it up with a 121-101 victory. And I don't remember who it was, but they run that style of offense where they sub out every 40 to 45 seconds, and they were able to hang with them for all of that game.
Right. I mean, you can see it now. Even late in the game, they're really still pushing the tempo. They're a well-conditioned team that like to run the ball a little bit, and this really doesn't surprise you that they were able to hang in, just kind of the way they play.
Full timeout brought to you by HTV News, your source for the latest video coverage. Both teams back on the floor. The Lady Forester basketball, 68-52. And now the full court press is on from the Cougars. Inbound goes to Osborne and right back to Baker, and she is pushing it. Now she puts on the brakes and heads back out to the perimeter and gives it to Palmer. Bounce pass to Recker near the top of the key. Recker picks up her dribble, goes to Palmer, 12 on the shot clock. Off to Hubble. Hubble uses a screen, had her foot on the line, puts up the 2, no good. Osborne the rebound. There's a bounce pass to Baker. Fighting for it underneath. And a foul on the floor. Goes against Beetleman. Now Allison Trout will look to check in, as that's the third foul on Beetleman. And that is the double bonus now for the Lady Foresters, as it was team foul number 10. Baker's first one on the way, and good.
Baker among the best free throw shooters on this this excellent free throw shooting team there, and she's got
coming in shooting 85%.
Yeah, on 47 attempts.
Second one on the way, and good from Courtney Baker. She'll sub out along with Amelia Recker. Bonema back in with Allison Trout. And a big round of applause for those two young ladies. 70-52. At 2:40 to go in the second half. Pass to Beetleman. That one taken away almost by Palmer, but it does go to the Foresters as it was knocked out by Christie.
And really, we've seen HU's defense just do an excellent job of really taking advantage of every missed opportunity and getting a lot of picked pockets, too. They do a good job of really taking advantage of a high dribble and getting themselves a lot of turnovers. That's something that they've done really well these last few games.
Sub looking to come in for Mount Vernon is number 22, Megan Foley. She'll come on for Christie. And Cougars playing tight defense here, guarding the inbound. As Trout try to get it in. She'll get it in deep to Osborne. Right back to Palmer. Palmer slows things down, just trying to get it across the timeline. Goes behind the back. Dishes to Hubble for three. A little too strong. There's Trout for the rebound. Kicks to Palmer. She'll shoot the three and connect.
And Palmer's just really having a great game, and she's really feeling her rhythm and making some excellent shots.
Here's Moss on the other end. Bounce pass to Kraus. Now Beetleman. And a travel. As Beetleman is giving it off to Walls. She could not do it. Number 21, Lacey Dietrich comes in as Kelsey Hubble heads to the sidelines. Deep inbound again will go to Osborne from Trout. Back to Allison, and now Palmer will take it. Palmer, guarded by Moss. A little bit of separation. She'll try and drive in. Tried to pass it off to Trout, but she was cutting to the basket, and it's out of bounds. Also coming in now, number 32, Kristen Reinhart for Mount Vernon. And also back in is Hibber, number 33. She'll come on for Kraus. Under 2 minutes here in the second half.
And Jacqueline Bonema, the lone starter for the Foresters, out on the floor.
She'll be taking Beetleman defensively. Beetleman also the lone starter left on the floor for Mount Vernon. Moss will go to Hibber, top of the key, inside Beetleman. That should have been a walk. Instead, she lays it in.
And the crowd not very happy. Maybe thought there might have been a travel, but even if there is, time's running low, big lead. It's okay, no call.
Here's Dietrich on the near wing, seeing her first action. Checking in, deep lob pass, tried to go to Osborne, but it was taken away. Here comes Reinhart. They'll try and go in, ball knocked away, moved by Bonema, and there's Palmer to take it, up to Trout. Trout will back it down to Dietrich. Inside, there's Bonema. She takes it in strong. And the crowd loving the effort out of Jacqueline Bonema, the sophomore.
Right, she's really developing every game as well and really getting her skills up to speed, and she's going to be a great player in a few years.
Inside, Hibber got the lucky roll off the iron inside. And now Palmer will slow things down as she crosses half court. Pass off to Dietrich. 40 seconds to go. Bonema goes back outside. Lazy pass taken away by Foley, and she will take it herself for two. 2 seconds between shot and game clock, so the Foresters will have to take at least one. Palmer trying to go inside, instead backs it out to the near corner and goes to Trout. Trout to Dietrich. Dietrich Gonna drive the lane. Nice dish to Osborne, and she draws the foul.
A really great pass as she was driving by Lacey Dietrich to find the open Stephanie Osborne, who's going to go to the line for 2.
Crowd loving that little possession from the Foresters. Foul occurs with 12.7 on the clock. 4th one against Beetleman for the day. Osborne out of the state of Michigan puts up the first free throw and connects. One more coming for the freshman. Looking to make it 77 for the Lady Foresters. Up on the way, rattles in and falls. 77-58. Moss to Foley with 5 seconds. Ball knocked away. Still loose inside, and it falls with 2.4. It was Hibber, and Dietrich will take it up the last 2.4. That is your ball game. And the Lady Foresters have won another one, 77-60, and they are 3-0 in the Crossroads League. They will be one of 2 undefeateds in the Crossroads League after today's action.
Right, looking really good right now and looking to be maybe a top contender among the pretty competitive Crossroads League.
We'll be back with a post-game wrap-up. Look at your final stats. And we'll say so long from Platte Arena after this on Forster Live on YouTube and 105.5 Fuse FM.
Or are you not even going to come back to one at all? Are you coming back to one at all? Like, what type of shot should I have? Okay.
Back in Platte Arena, 77-60 your final scores. The Foresters move to 3-0 in the conference. Mount Vernon falls to 0-3. And Caleb, a lot of good scoring from a lot of Lady Foresters today, led by Peja Speed with 21 points. Amelia Record chips in 13 with 8 boards and 3 assists. And then Courtney Baker, 16 points, 7 assists, and 7 rebounds, 5 steals. We could have been potentially talking about at least a triple-double Maybe a quadruple is not out of the possibility.
No, and I could definitely see her getting one of these eventually. She seems to just keep getting better and better every game, especially in the points department. You know, we've talked about her being an excellent defender. She plays with a lot of effort, gets a lot of good rebounds, but really, as far as scoring goes, she just her numbers just keep getting better every single game, and really she's developing into one of the strongest assets on this team.
Forsters finished the game shooting 44% from the field, almost 89% from the charity stripe, only missing 2 of their freebies, and went to the line 15 times in that second half alone, finishing out 16 for 18 for the game.
Yeah, that's just something they do really well, and again, they're almost good for it every time. Just have so many high percentage shooters, they get themselves a lot of opportunities. You saw Mount Vernon get into foul trouble early. They did a good job controlling that for a little while, but in the waning minutes of the second half, they ended up forcing the Forsters in the bonus and the double bonus, and really it was all downhill for Mount Vernon.
And also off the bench, Miranda Palmer, I believe her first game in double digits with 11 points off the bench. She really shined today, going 3 for 6 from the field.
Yeah, just really excellent job stepping up. We mentioned, definitely exuding some confidence that maybe we haven't seen yet, and she should be confident. She hit some really good shots, shot a pretty high percentage, and had a couple good three-pointers too in there. Really kind of set the bar a little bit higher now. We can expect a little bit more from Miranda Palmer in the coming games of this Crossroads League and the rest of the season.
So the Forsters now move back to the non-conference portion of their schedule, standing at 8-3 overall on the season, 3-0 in the Crossroads League. Their next contest is on the road next Saturday at 1 p.m. as they take on the Indiana University Southeast Grenadiers. Excellent name, if I do say so myself. That's pretty cool. They'll look to get their 9th win on the season. Our next broadcast for you will be men's Forster basketball as they take on Silver Lake College here in Platt Arena. That is next Saturday, the 14th at 3 p.m. Forsters could potentially be 11-0 by that next game, but right now they stand at 10-0, 2-0 in the Crossroads League, looking very, very good.
Yeah, and really both these men and women's Forsters teams just doing an excellent job, and they're really hot right now. They're on a roll, winning a lot of games and winning them very well with a lot of their different players involved. It's really exciting to watch both of these teams.
So that will do it from inside Platt Arena, 77-60. Lady Forsters pulling out another win. So for Caleb Overfeld, our entire crew, our director Brooks Hooley, I'm Eric Benton saying so long and good night and go Foresters.